G'day everyone, Viv here. I hope you're all keeping well. Welcome back. I'm going to be keeping my videos coming relatively quickly for the next couple of weeks, I suppose, as I work on different projects and I have different ideas, and I ask you some different sorts of questions, which I'll also ask on my Facebook page. But one of those is about This Is Not a Test. Now, one of the gaming groups that I've played with in the past, I haven't had much time to play with them because they meet on a night that clashes with my homebrew club. But they're getting in, or some of the guys there are playing or getting into this game, This Is Not a Test. So this is published by, World's End Publishing. It's a post-apocalyptic skirmish rule set. They also do have a range of miniatures on their site, but as you can imagine with that theme, there's loads of miniatures out there. It's 28mm scale, but can be adopted to any scale that you choose, so there's plenty of figures to choose from. So I picked up this rule book the other night. It just comes in a PDF copy, so I printed it in the office and whacked it in one of these little spiral binders. And I read through the rules last night, I think it was. Now, quite a lot of the book is all about special abilities and skills and weapon abilities and all that sort of stuff. Just to give you a quick rundown on the game before I ask you some questions, or whether you've heard of the game or not. It reminds me quite a lot, as I read the basic rules, of Pulp City and Mercs. Someone else on Facebook said that it's similar in some ways to the Judge Dredd game. The core mechanics are very, very simple. It's a whole bunch of opposed rolls, a whole bunch of stat checks, and that's pretty much it. Choose a dice, it's a D10 base, roll a D10, add a stat to it, and there's your roll. If it equals the target number, you're successful, etc, etc, etc. It has a campaign progression system similar to Mordheim and Necromunda and some of those other skirmish games that have the ability for your gangs to progress and grow, after a match. You can roll on the tables, choose skills, choose upgrades, choose different sorts of weapons, etc. So that sort of aspect of the game is interesting for me. The setting, obviously, post-apocalyptic. I don't know if everyone's into that. I just assume they are because, I mean, everything that's post-apocalyptic is popular, especially if you include zombies in it. Everybody wants a piece of it. So, did have a glass of water around here somewhere. Anyway, so This Is Not a Test is a game that I've been reading on. I still need to finish reading through all the skills and stuff and then get into the campaign sections and the scenarios that are included in the book, but it seems interesting to me. There is some sort of simplicity to the game in the core mechanics, but there's a lot of flavour, as I mentioned on the Facebook, on one of the groups there. There's a lot of flavour in the skills and the abilities. The artwork is really nice. The scenery in here is amazing. I mean, for example, let me just show you this. It's not very often that you sort of see an abandoned playground with swings and slides and all that sort of stuff. But that's exactly what you'd expect in a post-apocalyptic environment, especially in a suburban environment. And at the back of the book, they've got some wonderful, wonderful tables. For example, here's one of the suburban ruins, and it's just a couple of suburban streets, and that sort of aspect is interesting. I like that. You're not just fighting in sort of a ruined sort of city. I mean, there are some ruined cities in here, but I like that. And I guess you could incorporate that into lots of different sorts of games, but there we have it. This Is Not a Test. I haven't played a game of this yet. Hopefully I will. I don't know. I'm so busy and there's so many different things going on. I have so many different interests that I rarely ever get to play any games these days. But I'm hoping I can change that and get back to some Saga battle reports, some In Her Majesty's Name. I think we're long overdue for the Irish versus Vikings grudge match. Lots and lots of things going on. So This Is Not a Test. Have you heard of it? I just thought I'd, in between sort of assembling the Romans from Warlord Games, I'm working on the auxiliaries at the moment. These are auxiliaries, right? I love how all the names are on the sprues. I love it. Imperial Roman auxiliaries. So in between assembling these guys, and they have a round shield. Ta-da! I will stab you with my pointy. That could have sounded bad. So in between assembling those, watching Lord of the Rings for the 1700th time, I need to get some more DVDs in here for when I'm doing this sort of hobby work. I thought I'd take a break and have a bit of a read through. This Is Not a Test, and therefore therefore I thought put the camera on, have a bit of a ramble, bit of a chat, sort of explain to you what it is. The rulebook cost about 30 bucks. I think it was $34 Australian. Download it, print it out, take it to Officeworks or something like that and print yourself a copy. It is letter based. I did try to have a quick look for letter paper. There are various places around in Australia that sell letter paper. We can thank the Americans. I think they're pretty much the only people that use a letter size piece of paper. Well, I don't know about that. I have no evidence to back that up. I'm just assuming it in my bigotry. But I would like to get some A4 paper, some letter size paper and print it out in letter size, or I could just trim it. I could be super lazy. And what am I talking about? So the game is simple. I like it. Have you heard of it? Have you seen it? There's some interesting battle reports on YouTube. Do you know people that play it? Is it worth me sort of spending more time to organise miniatures for it, fish out some figures that perhaps I might have for it, find some figures? Is it worth me going to the effort? Just yet more things I'm never going to paint. Which brings me to a painting update, which I'm going to do shortly because it's just not going well. I'm just not finding enough time. I have too many varied interests. Work is too sort of mentally stressful for me at the moment. It's difficult to focus on painting miniatures. I'll talk about that later in a different video. This is not a test. That's what we're talking about. There we go. That's it. We've probably lost everyone who is watching this at this stage because I've rambled. But that's the way it is. Have you seen this game? Have you played it? Do you know anyone that plays it? Is it worth getting into? Thanks very much for watching. This is not a test from World's End Publishing. I'm going to look at it a little bit more. Lots of games I want to look at a little bit more. You can expect videos coming out hard and fast about a whole bunch of topics. And I'm sorry if you don't like it. You can deal with it and go watch someone else. Or watch. See ya.